Thank you so much for joining us today for this chapter of time-hopping hero Ethan's First Leaps. We truly appreciate you taking the time to read along with us. Just a reminder that the English subtitles for this video are accurate, and YouTube offers some fantastic tools to enhance your learning. If needed, you can use the auto-translate function to view subtitles in your preferred language, Portuguese already provided on screen. You can also slow down the video playback speed if you'd like to listen more carefully. Thanks again for spending your valuable time with us. Enjoy the story. Time-hopping hero, Ethan's First Leaps. Copyright 2025. Chunking to Fluency. Chapter 3. The Promise of Time. The next 2 years blurred into focused effort and mounting concern. Ethan, now 12, had become a true partner to Mr. Abernathy. The time machine dominated the workshop, humming with a nascent power. Its console, a labyrinth of dials, pulsed with anticipation. Ethan understood its workings intuitively, even as Mr. Abernathy, though still sharp, moved slower, his energy visibly dwindling. Recognizing their desperate race against time, the old man poured his remaining strength into guiding Ethan, sharing everything about temporal mechanics and whispered theories of future medical breakthroughs. At home, Laura Pruitt's vibrant world was steadily fading. What began as persistent tiredness escalated into something more insidious. Her once nimble fingers fumbled, and her artist's palette remained untouched for days. Laughter was replaced by shallow breaths and a quiet tremor. Thomas, his brow permanently furrowed, spent evenings speaking in hushed, worried tones on the phone, his eyes filled with helpless frustration that echoed deep in Ethan's chest. It was a sweltering August afternoon at the Topeka State Fair when the simmering dread finally erupted. The air hung thick with the scent of popcorn and fried dough. Ethan, clutching melting ice cream, trailed his parents. Laura, usually invigorated by the fair's chaos, seemed unusually pale. As they admired a prize-winning pumpkin, Laura's eyes glazed over. She swayed, a strange, disjointed motion, and before Thomas could catch her, she collapsed to the dusty ground, her body seizing with alarming rigidity. The festive din muted, replaced by the pounding of Ethan's heart as horrified silence descended. The next hours were a blur of flashing lights and sterile smells. Laura was rushed to a local Topeka hospital for tests. Findings were alarming but inconclusive. A week later, after more specialized scans, they were referred to the University Hospital in Kansas City. Here, after agonizing days, the diagnosis came: a rare, rapidly progressive neurological degenerative disease. The doctor's words delivered a grim prognosis: no known cure, swift and unforgiving progression. Back in Mr. Abernathy's workshop, the time machine's hum gained desperate urgency. The race was now against Laura's fading life. Thomas, grappling with the devastating news, often came to the shop, his usual scientific explanations replaced by quiet, desperate pleas for any solution. Mr. Abernathy, clearly declining, became a beacon of resolve. He worked tirelessly, pushing himself, guiding Ethan through the final connections and temporal calibrations. He shared decades of theoretical research, pointing Ethan towards encrypted files and dusty medical journals on future breakthroughs. With Mr. Abernathy's guidance, Ethan devoured information, then spent late nights at the public library, cross-referencing and extrapolating. The goal was clear: launch exactly 75 years into the future, a time distant enough for science to conquer this monstrous disease, but close enough, they hoped, to still make a difference. The last pieces clicked into place, the console glowing, ready. The moment came late one night. Mr. Abernathy, leaning heavily, his face pale but eyes determined, gave Ethan a terse nod. "You know what to do, son. Remember everything." Ethan, heart frantic, climbed in. He set the coordinates, 75 years into the future. He pressed the button. A roar filled the workshop, tearing at existence. The world became a dizzying kaleidoscope, then snapped into focus. He was there. The future was a surreal blend of familiar and new. Ethan immediately sought the largest medical archives. In a sleek, silent future library, walls lined with data streams, a quick query led him to it. A comprehensive file on Paton syndrome. This neurological degenerative disease was now easily treatable, even preventable, with gene therapy and neural regenerators. The information was precise. He downloaded the data onto an encrypted drive. A surge of triumph, mingling with desperate hope. He had it. The cure. The return trip was equally intense. He materialized back in the workshop, the machine's hum fading. Mr. Abernathy, despite weakness, met his wide-eyed gaze. Ethan nodded, holding up the drive, a breathless, "I have it," escaping his lips. But his triumph was short-lived. A single glance at Mr. Abernathy's face, etched with profound grief, told him everything. Thomas met him at the door of their house, eyes red-rimmed, shoulders slumped. "Ethan, your mother." Laura Pruitt lay in her bed, a shadow of her former self. Her breath was shallow. Her clouded eyes still held a faint glimmer of recognition. The cure, painstakingly retrieved, was simply too late. The disease had progressed beyond reversal, its tendrils irrevocably damaging too much. Ethan knelt, clutching the drive. "Mom, I have it! The cure!" he whispered, tears streaming. She reached a trembling hand, touching his cheek. Her voice a bare whisper, each word monumental. "My dearest Ethan, you have such a gift, not just for machines, but for seeing the heart of things. Promise me, my artist, my scientist. Promise me you will use this for more than just yourself. Promise me you will paint the world better with the strokes of time. For the good of mankind, my love." Ethan, choking back a sob, clutched her hand tighter. "I promise, Mom," he vowed, his voice cracking. "I promise I'll honor you in every mission. I'll use this gift for good, for everyone." Her hand slipped. Her breath gently faded, leaving him in a silence far more deafening than any temporal jump. The weight of her final plea and his desperate promise settled upon him, a sacred vow that would guide his every journey into the fabric of time. The end of Chapter 3.
Frases-chave de interesse para o capítulo 3. Chunk phrases of interest for Chapter 3. Número 1. O esforço concentrado. Number 1. The focused effort. The focused effort. Este bloco se refere a uma aplicação dedicada e concentrada de energia ou atenção. This chunk refers to a dedicated and concentrated application of energy or attention. Example Português. Concluir o projeto exigiu esforço concentrado de toda a equipe. Example English. Completing the project required the focused effort of the entire team. Completing the project required the focused effort of the entire team. Número 2. Sua energia visivelmente diminuindo. Number 2. His energy visibly dwindling. His energy visibly dwindling. Este bloco se refere a uma redução perceptível na vitalidade ou capacidade física de uma pessoa. This chunk refers to a noticeable reduction in a person's vitality or physical capacity. Exemplo português. Após a longa caminhada, sua energia estava visivelmente diminuindo. Example English. After the long hike, his energy was visibly dwindling. After the long hike, his energy was visibly dwindling. Número 3. A corrida contra o tempo. Number 3. The race against time. The race against time. Este bloco se refere a uma situação em que a velocidade é crítica devido a um prazo iminente ou a um evento iminente. This chunk refers to a situation where speed is critical due to a looming deadline or impending event. Example: português, terminar o antídoto tornou-se a corrida contra o tempo. Example English: finishing the antidote became the race against time. Finishing the antidote became the race against time. Número 4. Algo mais insidioso. Number 4. Something more insidious. Something more insidious. Este bloco se refere a um problema ou ameaça que é mais astuto ou prejudicial do que aparenta, desenvolvendo-se secretamente. This chunk refers to a problem or threat that is more cunning or harmful than it appears, developing secretly. Example Português. O médico temia que fosse algo mais insidioso do que um resfriado comum. Example English. The doctor feared it was something more insidious than a common cold. The doctor feared it was something more insidious than a common cold. Número 5. A respiração superficial. Number 5. The shallow breaths. The shallow breaths. Este bloco se refere à respiração que não é profunda ou completa, frequentemente indicativa de doença, fraqueza ou sofrimento. This chunk refers to breathing that is not deep or full, often indicative of illness, weakness, or distress. Example, português. Após o esforço, tudo o que ele conseguia fazer era respirar superficialmente. Example, English. After the exertion, all he could manage were the shallow breaths. After the exertion, all he could manage were the shallow breaths. Número 6. Uma tarde sufocante. Number 6. A sweltering afternoon. A sweltering afternoon. Este bloco se refere a uma tarde desconfortavelmente quente e úmida. This chunk refers to an afternoon that is uncomfortably hot and humid. Example, Português. Eles procuraram sombra durante uma tarde sufocante. Example, English. They sought shade during a sweltering afternoon. They sought shade during a sweltering afternoon. Número 7. Seus olhos ficaram vidrados. Number 7. Her eyes glazed over. Her eyes glazed over. Este bloco se refere aos olhos de alguém que manifestaram um sinal físico de distanciamento, cansaço ou um problema médico. This chunk refers to someone's eyes that have manifested a physical sign of detachment, weariness, or a medical issue. Example, conforme a febre subia, seus olhos ficaram vidrados. Example, English, as the fever rose, her eyes glazed over. As the fever rose, her eyes glazed over. Número 8. Borrão de luzes piscantes. Number 8. Blur of flashing lights. Blur of flashing lights. Este bloco se refere a uma impressão confusa ou indistinta, criada por luzes que se movem ou piscam rapidamente. This chunk refers to a confused or indistinct impression created by rapidly moving or blinking lights. Example Portuguese. A cena do acidente era borrão de luzes piscantes. Example English. The accident scene was a blur of flashing lights. The accident scene was a blur of flashing lights. Número 9. Os achados inconclusivos. Number 9. The inconclusive findings. The inconclusive findings. Este bloco se refere a resultados de pesquisas ou testes que não oferecem uma conclusão decisiva. This chunk refers to research or test results that fail to offer a decisive conclusion. Example Portuguese. Apesar de muitos testes, os achados inconclusivos os deixaram perplexos. Example English. Despite many tests, the inconclusive findings left them puzzled. Despite many tests, the inconclusive findings left them puzzled. Número 10. A rara doença degenerativa. Number 10. The rare degenerative disease. The rare degenerative disease. Este bloco se refere a uma condição médica caracterizada por declínio progressivo da saúde ou da função incomum. This chunk refers to a medical condition characterized by progressive decline in health or function, not commonly seen. Example Portuguese. Médicos tiveram dificuldade para diagnosticar a rara doença degenerativa. Example English. Doctors struggled to diagnose the rare degenerative disease. Doctors struggled to diagnose the rare degenerative disease. Número 11. O prognóstico sombrio. Number 11. The grim prognosis. The grim prognosis. Este bloco se refere a uma previsão sombria, particularmente em contexto médico. This chunk refers to a bleak forecast, particularly in a medical context. Example, português. A família recebeu o prognóstico sombrio do especialista. Example, English. The family received the grim prognosis from the specialist. The family received the grim prognosis from the specialist. Número 12. A progressão implacável. Number 12. The unforgiving progression. The unforgiving progression. Este bloco se refere a processo, especialmente uma doença, que avança sem clemência ou possibilidade de desaceleração. This chunk refers to a process, especially an illness, that advances without mercy or possibility of slowing. Example Portuguese. O médico alertou sobre a progressão implacável da condição. Example English. The doctor warned of the unforgiving progression of the condition. The doctor warned of the unforgiving progression of the condition. Número 13. Urgência desesperada. Number 13. Desperate urgency. Desperate urgency. Este bloco se refere a uma necessidade poderosa e urgente de ação rápida devido a uma situação crítica. This chunk refers to a powerful and pressing need for quick action due to a critical situation. Example Portuguese. Eles trabalharam com urgência desesperada para salvar o paciente. Example English. They worked with desperate urgency to save the patient. They worked with desperate urgency to save the patient. Número 14. A notícia devastadora. Number 14. The devastating news. The devastating news. Este bloco se refere a informações profundamente perturbadoras ou destrutivas. This chunk refers to information that is profoundly upsetting or destructive. Example Português. Receber a notícia devastadora mudou suas vidas para sempre. Example English. Receiving the devastating news changed their lives forever. Receiving the devastating news changed their lives forever. Número 15. O apelo final. Number 15. The final plea. The final plea. Este bloco se refere a pedido final e sincero feito por alguém. This chunk refers to a concluding and heartfelt entreaty made by someone. Example Português. Suas últimas palavras foram apelo final por perdão. Example English. Her last words were the final plea for forgiveness. Her last words were the final plea for forgiveness. Número 16. Sua saúde claramente em declínio. Number 16. His health clearly declining. His health clearly declining. Este bloco se refere a uma deterioração evidente no bem-estar de uma pessoa. This chunk refers to an evident deterioration in a person's well-being. Example, Português. Todos podiam ver sua saúde claramente em declínio dia após dia. Example, English. Everyone could see his health clearly declining day by day. Everyone could see his health clearly declining day by day. Número 17. Farol de determinação. Number 17. A beacon of resolve. A beacon of resolve. Este bloco se refere a alguém que atua como símbolo poderoso ou fonte de propósito inabalável. This chunk refers to someone who acts as a powerful symbol or source of unwavering purpose. Example, Português. Apesar dos desafios, ela permaneceu farol de determinação. Example, English. Despite the challenges, she remained a beacon of resolve. Despite the challenges, she remained a beacon of resolve. Número 18. Os arquivos criptografados. Number 18. The encrypted files. The encrypted files. Este bloco se refere a documentos eletrônicos seguros protegidos por criptografia. This chunk refers to secure electronic documents protected by encryption. Example, Português. Ele acessou os arquivos criptografados com a senha correta. Example, English. He accessed the encrypted files with the correct password. He accessed the encrypted files with the correct password. Número 19. A unidade criptografada. Number 19. The encrypted drive. The encrypted drive. Este bloco se refere a um dispositivo de armazenamento portátil seguro. This chunk refers to a secure portable storage device. Example, português. Os planos secretos foram salvos na unidade criptografada. Example, English. The secret plans were saved on the encrypted drive. The secret plans were saved on the encrypted drive. Número 20. O juramento sagrado ou o voto sagrado. Number 20. The sacred oath or the sacred vow. The sacred oath or the sacred vow. Este bloco se refere a uma promessa ou compromisso solene considerado inquebrável ou divinamente vinculativo. This chunk refers to a solemn promise or pledge regarded as unbreakable or divinely binding. Example, português. Ele fez o juramento sagrado de proteger sua família. Example, English. He made the sacred oath to protect his family. He made the sacred oath to protect his family. O fim das frases-chave de interesse para o capítulo 3. The end of chunk phrases of interest for Chapter 3.
We hope that by listening to the story and reviewing the chunk phrases of interest, you've had a chance to increase your English vocabulary in an enjoyable way. If you enjoyed this chapter and want to continue your journey with Ethan and his time-hopping adventures, please subscribe to the Chunking to Fluency channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to share this video with anyone who might enjoy it or is learning English. And don't forget to give it a like. Finally, if you hit the notification bell icon, you'll be sure to know when the next chapter of Time-Hopping Hero, Ethan's First Leaps, is released. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to sharing more stories with you soon. Be blessed.